use in this. So, you know, if you wanted to just do neck warm-ups, you can read through and page down neck warm-ups, click on that, and it just comes up just the neck warm-ups.
Yeah, I've seen all. On your arms, your shoulder, they have different classes, which I really enjoy. But sometimes, like tomorrow, it's supposed to be raining all day. So I won't be able to get out and walk like I normally do. So I go to those.
Yeah. Well, they have on here, let's see, all the stretches. So it says warm-ups, no talking. And that's after you get really good at it and you don't need the help. But then there's warm-ups where you get talked through it. So, you know, you have choices where you can do a little bit or a lot of it. You can learn, you can just watch it. You don't even have to do it. But that's a good way to, you know, stay in touch with Tai Chi in the week. You know, we know that the more we expose ourselves to it, the better we're going to be at it. The more practice we have, whether we're actually doing it or just watching it, the more then we're going to get the benefits from the Tai Chi. And I try to give y'all tools so that, you know, you might not remember everything I say in class. And you might not want to go back and watch the whole class. But, I just thought of something else. Speaking of the whole class, I need to put myself on, oh, what's it called? It's not Pen, it's called Spotlight. You know, I only halfway know what I'm doing.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I can't help you. I tell everybody I'm a computer illiterate. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know why sometimes it's a choice to make myself a spotlight and sometimes it's a choice to pin it. I don't know why. Anyway, I try to make myself the biggest picture so that when it records, it's only me. And so, you know, you want to be able to see your instructor. So I think that's what spotlight means, but I don't know why. Anyway, it's not a choice today. Maybe it will be a choice whenever, if somebody else were to come to class. I don't know. Anyway, it's here. So the classes are recorded. So if you want to completely watch the class over, it'll be on the YouTube page, which is accessible through your Claris on, let's see. I don't know what yours says. If it says SOWEGA virtual classes, that's what my Claris says.
Oh, now if I turn mine off, I'll lose you, so I can't do that. But yeah. I think you have it's I think it's that's what mine is like that.
Okay. That's what I made mine say, but my Claris is different than yours. But if I click on the SOWEGA virtual classes, it will take me to a listing of all the classes I have taught since last February. So, I mean, you can watch classes that you weren't even a part of. So if, you know, you just want an hour-long class, you can click on, oh, you know, this one from September or this one from March, you know, and go, wow, well, that's cool. You know, maybe I say things a little different. Some of them I look like I'm in a horror movie or something. I don't know what I was thinking that day. I know I remember some of them I had a cold. I couldn't even talk. So, but that's just a resource for you. Say that again. Is your tablet breaking up? All right, I will wait for you to come back. I'm just curious if maybe other people aren't having problems too. I know we're missing Miss Mary from last week, and well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get started with class. And that way there'll be a recording. And if that's all I know to do, y'all. That's just all I know to do. I don't know why the technology is being sort of tricky today, but sometimes we just have to go with the flow and do what we can. So this is your class for today. We always start off class as warming up our bodies. It's really cold outside today. That may be why the internet's not working. It might be going, no, I'm going to stay in my blankets under the covers. I'm not coming out today, said the internet. That may be it. But I've had a heater going on in here in the past couple hours to get it warm in this room. This is like the coldest room in our building. So I don't like to move when I'm cold. So our muscles are not happy whenever they're cold, when we try to tell them to move and do something. So in order to get warmed up, we just want to open and close our hands, pump our arms, just walking. Let's see. Well, look at there. There's Mr. James. I'll be doggone. Mr. James. Mr. James, are you there?
Hi.
Ah, look at you. I ain't seen you in ages.
I know it. Yeah, what a mix-up.
I was wondering why you didn't sign up. I was sad, but of course I understand if it doesn't work with your schedule and interest, but I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you, and thanks for my card and everything, but it was a big mix-up. I thought I was already signed up.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know I had to re-sign up. I thought the last day we talked to you, with return.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you got that situated. We haven't gotten too far into the class, obviously. This is our third week of class, but we're just getting started and reviewing from the beginning. The first week we did the basic 6. I mean, no, we didn't do the basic 6. We did the first 3 warm-up moves, which, is our neck, our shoulders, and our spine. And then the second week, we did our lower body warm-ups. And so now, Miss Juanita.
I lost you there for a second.
I know. So Miss Juanita had been on, and then she got messed up. And so I was just starting to teach the class without anybody in it. So now I don't have to teach it all by myself anymore. I was just going, well, at least we'll have a class and that somebody can watch and use after the fact. So what I was talking about was warming up and how we have to warm up our bodies when we go to exercise, or else our muscles kind of get mad at us. They don't like to move when it's cold. It's very cold outside. So I've been having this space heater on to at least warm up the air in this room. I warmed it up so good I near about got sleepy. So that was the negative about getting a really warm room. I said, well, heck, at least I'm not cold. Anyway, we're just walking around, pumping our arms, open and closing our hands, just getting ready for movement. And we're going to go through our warm-ups that we have learned in the past couple weeks. We do our warm-ups every class. We'll spend less and less time with our warm-ups as class progresses, and we start learning the movements in our Tai Chi series of movements. And we'll do that today. Hopefully we'll have time. we'll do the commencement movement and talk about that. I'm also going to give y'all the option of mirror image versus me turned around. So, Mr. James, do you have a preference? You like turned around?
I don't. No,
Okay.
I don't have a preference.
Well, we'll do both. And Miss Juanita, you can let me know what you think. And some people say either way is fine with me. My personal preference, if somebody's teaching me, I like for them to turn around. But that's me. So I'm here for you, and I want to do what's going to be best helpful for you. So let's start with those warm-ups. We want to think about our body structure. Our feet are about shoulder width apart. Our weight is on both of our legs. We have a good upright posture. So when I think about my spine, I think of a string that pulls up towards the ceiling and down towards the floor at the same time. And I have nice relaxed shoulders. So I'm not holding any tension in my body. My body's relaxed, but the weight of my body is evenly supported. And that's how we like to hold ourselves whenever we do our Tai Chi. So starting with our neck, we're in this stance. We're going to go with our hands. Our hands are going to come up, palms down. We're not going to go any higher than our shoulders. We're going to bring our hands towards our chin and chest. We'll push away from our bodies and then follow our hands all the way down. Our chin goes to our chest, feeling a little stretch in the back of our neck. Bring those hands up towards our chin and chest. Push away from our body and follow those hands all the way down, chin towards our chest, feeling that little bit of a stretch. Come back up towards our chin and chest. Now we're going to try something new. Let's pick one to our hip. Now let's follow this hand as we look towards that shoulder. Come back to the front, switch hands. Now let's look towards the other shoulder. We don't have to go as far as we can go, just enough to where we feel that slight stretch and coming back to center. Center being the front. So we're going to go side to side, relaxing those muscles in our neck, encouraging the mobility, reducing the stiffness and the tension that we so often carry in our necks, which can lead us to having headaches and neck aches and shoulder aches. And it all starts with working on this warm-up stretches and letting go of any tension that we're having. Side to side. The more you do this, the more flexible you'll be. The more mobile your neck is, helping you with everyday living activities. Specifically driving is what I always think when I do this move. All right, come back to center. Now those are for our neck. Let's go to our shoulders. Our hands are to our side. We're going to roll those shoulders forward, just small circles forward. And then roll those shoulders back. It's like a little massage you give yourself. Roll forward. I always roll forward first, and that's kind of an awkward feeling because our shoulders aren't supposed to be forward. And then I roll back. Our shoulders are intended to be back. That gives us that better posture. I'm warming up those shoulders with these rolls. Now let's do our big shoulder circle where we take our palms up, come to about shoulder height, and then turn our palms down and push down in front of us. This is intended for our shoulder, but it's good to practice our breath as well. So whenever we bring our hands up, we inhale. And then when we push our hands down, we exhale that air. So that's a way to practice our diaphragmatic breathing. It's relaxing. It helps bring down our heart rate. We can sit down and do this shoulder movement and practice breath, even close our eyes. I don't recommend closing your eyes when you're standing, but whenever you're seated in a stable chair, it's safer to be able to close your eyes. All right, those are for our shoulders. Now let's go to our spine. So we have our ball right here. We're going to separate the heavens and the earth, stretching our spine vertically. The hand that's on top of our ball is going to come down and push towards the ground, keeping that soft bend in our elbow. The hand that's on bottom is going to follow that spine up and press towards the ceiling, stretching that spine. Then we come back to our ball and switch. So now the other hand pushes down towards the ground and the other one up towards the ceiling. Come back to that ball and switch. We're going to talk more and more about breathing, but on this movement, I like to inhale as I come to my ball and exhale as I separate. There's something about exhaling on that extension that helps just increase that movement and make it more as it should be. Stretching that spine, back to ball, and switch. Inhale to the ball and exhale as we separate. And you may not be ready to practice that breath yet, but that's just a general idea of when we breathe. Now let's do our other spinal exercise that involves our ball. The hand that's on top tells us the direction. So this hand's on top, I'm going that way first. Moving just my torso, I go until just where my ball is just above that knee, switching my hands and coming back across. So don't go as far as you can go. Just go that short trip just to warm up and stretch our spine horizontally. And breathe when it feels most naturally for you. You may need a longer exhale time than just going across your body, but you can time it to where you inhale as you switch and exhale as you make that turn. Inhale as you switch and exhale as you turn. But listen to your body. If you're not ready to breathe in yet, you breathe in and out as you feel comfortable. That's the great thing about this class, is it encourages us to listen to our bodies and what our body needs. So speaking of that, we've done our neck, shoulders, and spine exercises that didn't involve leg movement. We simply stood in a stable way to hold our body weight. But as we move into our lower body stretches, we need to consider, do we need a chair? Do we need something that's stable nearby? Do we need to skip the arm movements and simply do just the legs for our safety? And so that can be different for all of us. It can be different for the same person on different days, because we have good days and bad days. So if you need to sit down and do these exercises or stand up with a chair, I like to play the invisible chair. That way you can still see my legs. But I do have a chair back here if we ever need to do specific chair exercises. But I can hold my chair and do my leg exercises and completely skip the arm movements, and that's no problem. Main thing is you're doing what is intended for us to do with our legs, and a lot of it with our lower body is weight transfer. And so that's the first thing that we're going to do is shift our weight to one leg. We're going to take the leg that has no weight, tap our heel out forward, and then if we're doing the arm movement, our hands go back. So from the side, it looks like this. I shift my weight, I put my heel forward and my hands back. Then I come back to center, and then I put my toe back and my hands forward, maintaining that upright posture, not leaning into any weight shifting. Here, pause. And then when I put my toe back, it's like a kickstand. It kind of goes back, but it's to the side. And that's a more stable stance than if I were to put my leg straight back. This would be the same as standing with my feet real close together. That's not a very stable stance. So that's why when we put our toe back, it's a little out to the side. And our hands are out front when our leg is back, and our heel is out front and our arms are back. And that's what we call a counterbalance. So heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hands forward. So this leg that's been holding our weight for all that time I've been talking, it's getting a little bit mad at us. It's going, whoa, lady, give me a break. So let's give it a break and give our other leg the weight and let this leg do some movement. Heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, toe back, hands forward. Come back to center, heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hands forward. Kind of like a leg swing, but it's warming up that hip joint. Also giving us some practice of endurance of one leg holding our weight. Studies show that our ability to hold weight on one leg is has a relationship to what our risk is of falling. If we can easily hold our weight on one leg, we're less likely to fall. If we struggle a lot to hold all our weight on one leg, then we're at a higher risk of falls. So our goal through Tai Chi, our goal through weight transfer is to increase the strength of our stabilizer muscles. So our other hip exercise, we shift weight side to side, and our hand movement looks like this. We stack our hands here, and we're going to move our hands to the side that we're shifting our weight. Now notice I stopped about right here. That's what's my frame. In Tai Chi, we try to stay within our frame. What we're not going to do is lean way over here. See, our tendency is to think, oh, I have to go further because surely that's better. But that's not the case in Tai Chi. We go here, stay our frame, keep our body upright. We don't want to extend outside of our frame. We don't want to lean as we transfer weight because then that sets us towards falling, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So it's shifting the weight to one leg. When we get those hands to the frame, we lift that other foot and tap it out, bring it back, switch our hands, shift the weight, and tap out. Bring it back, shift, tap, shift. So I like to tell you why we do the moves that we do, not just tell you to do them. I feel like I'm an eternal 5-year-old always asking why. So I want y'all to know why we do these things. Why it's important to stay within our frame, because it's all about safety. That's our number one goal, is to keep you safe. So those are for our hips. Next is for our knees. Our exercise with our knees involves a loose fist. So just like we're holding an egg and we don't want to break the precious egg that is, I think is worth $4.52. So right here, we're holding our eggs. Right here. It's crazy how much an egg costs these days. So suddenly I don't like eggs anymore.
I ain't care for them no how.
All right, so we're holding our egg right here, and we're gonna surprise, shift weight to one side. We're gonna lift this foot, tap the toe out, and punch the opposite arm, bringing it back, shift, lift, tap and punch, bringing it back, shift, lift, tap and punch, bring it back. So a lot of weight shifting, shift, lift, tap and punch. It prepares us for our Tai Chi series of movements where weight transfer is one of our big principles. Notice I keep my body upright. I don't lean into the movement. Notice I keep my fist very loose, and whenever I punch, I don't fully extend that arm. I keep a soft bend in that elbow. Now we're going to step out. We shift the weight. We step. Now I'm going to shift some weight to this front foot, not all of it. I'm going to keep the back foot on the floor as I shift a little weight forward. Now I shift it back, feet side by side. I'm going to turn to the side and show you. Shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, feet side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch. Yeah, I'm doing it right. Got myself confused. And side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch. Bring it back. So just notice that that back foot stays flat on the floor and my knee does not extend my toe. If I were to keep pushing forward, that knee would extend my toe and I would get a really bad pain in my knee. Pain is bad. Pain is your body's way of saying, stop, don't do that anymore. Let's try different. We want to take care of these knees. Our hips, our knees, and our ankles, these are our weight-bearing joints. God didn't make our bodies to last forever. So the joints that hold our weight, they can wear out. If we carry too much weight or if we move our bodies in a way that's harmful to those joints, then we start having problems. So we try to keep ourselves from having those problems by keeping that upright posture, widening our stance to hold our body or hold our weight in a stable way, doing what we can to protect our joints. And we learn a lot of body awareness in Tai Chi, paying attention to how we're moving. Sometimes people take too big of a step and that puts stress on our joints. Sometimes people squat down too much and puts pressure on our joints. So we want to do what we can to protect it. Lastly is our ankles. Sometimes we forget about them. They're farthest from our eyeballs and they just seem like not a big deal. But if we have a good mobility in our ankles, it can help keep us from falling. So let's shift our weight to one foot and then the other foot do heel toe, just kind of rocking that foot, heel toe. Very good. All right, let's shift the weight and do heel toe with our other foot. Heel toe. Bring that foot back, shift the weight. Now let's do big toe, little toe. So we're going side to side, which is kind of an awkward movement, but it's all in the name of joint mobility. Bring it back and finally shift, and the last foot, little toe, big toe. We all have different flexibilities of our joints based on the movement that we experience often. Just like a gymnast can easily do the splits, I can't. I've been talking to my son and he realizes how inflexible his ankles are. So he's been working with the physical therapist, doing the exact movements that we do in Tai Chi, heel toe, rocking that foot, and he can't move his ankle like that. And that just blew my mind that his ankle had no mobility. So what we're doing for mobility, my 18-year-old son who plays varsity baseball is doing that same thing. So I thought that was pretty like our bodies are the same regardless of that ability and what our age and what we're doing. We still take care of it in the same way. So are y'all good on the warm-up stretches, the ones we just finished?
Yes.
So we'll do them every time. I'll talk less and less, but let's go through them without talking. Let's go through them. I'm just going to call out what they're for. So the first are for our neck. The other one for our neck starts off that same way. And we go side to side. Then for our shoulders, we roll forward and back. And we do our big circle. Now for our spine, we grab our ball, separating the heavens and the earth, stretching that back. And come back to our ball and take it side to side. Our ball's going for a ride. Now for our hips, we shift the weight. There's that counterbalance. Of course, we do it on the other side. I'm just doing one of each movement just as a review. And side to side as we take our hand, tap, shift, and tap. There's our loose fist. Let's do our knees, lift and tap, punch the opposite hand. That one is so challenging to me. Stepping forward, shift and punch, and other side. But everything we do on the other side. Then for our ankles, heel toe, other side. And then, of course, big toe, little toe, side to side, other side, big toe, little toe. Well, there you go. That's a quick review of our warm-up stretches. So now we're ready to dive into, let me do a time check. We're ready to dive into commencement. And so commencement is the first move. Well, heck.
I'm tired already.
Spotlight. Do what? Oh, you're tired? That's all right. This time is like that special time in the afternoon when our bodies, it's called a circadian rhythm. And at around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, our bodies are in the circadian rhythm that tells us it's time to have a nap. And so if you've ever tried to stay up all night long, if you think about when you were a kid, I think most kids try to stay up all night. It's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you fall asleep. In the afternoons, if you hear about a Hispanic culture and they take a siesta in the afternoon, where, I mean, if you go to Mexico, the whole town will shut down for siesta time. Guess what time it is? 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And that they built that around, it's called your circadian rhythm. So if you ever find yourself getting a little bit sleepy at 2 or 3 in the afternoon or 2 or 3 in the morning, that's your natural circadian rhythm. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. All right, so we're going to do commencement. Now I'll do it forward and I'll turn around and do it backwards. But commencement, leg-wise, is a step forward. So we shift our weight to our right leg, we step with our left, we shift our weight to our left foot, and then we bring our right foot forward. That's the mirror image. But if you'll listen to my words, it's shift right, step left, shift left, and bring that right foot forward. So notice I kept my stable stance where my feet were stayed at hip width apart. As I stepped forward, shift right, step left, shift left, right foot forward. Easy enough. One step forward. Let me turn around. So follow me as we do the footwork of commencement. Shift right, step left, shift left, right foot forward. That's the footwork of commencement. It's a simple step. So I want you to pay attention of how you like to see this on your screen. This is mirror image where I say shift right, step left, shift left, Bring the right foot forward. That's mirror image, as if you were looking into a mirror. And then here, turned around, I have shift right, step left, shift left, right foot forward. So turned around sometimes is easier for people. But now there will be times when I have to turn around because you can't see what my hands are doing if I'm right here doing stuff with my hands. It's like it's a secret and you're not in on it. So there will be times I have to turn around to show you what we're doing with our hands. The hand movement of commencement. It starts out, I'm going to come closer to the camera since it just involves my hands. The hands face each other the whole time we go through the movement. They start out at the sides of our bodies and they're going to come up as they're facing each other. Now I want you to notice the elbow has a soft bend in that elbow. So even though my hands are out and away from my body, I'm not Frankenstein, right? So I'm not all the way out, soft bend out. And that's true with all of our joints in Tai Chi. We keep soft, open joints. They're called song joints, S-O-N-G. So when we have our hands away from us, it's still that nice soft bend and not Frankenstein. Nice soft bend. The whole time our hands will face each other. We bring our hands up facing each other, and then we bring our hands down. We bring our hands towards our body, about towards my hips. Then I bring my hands up, push my hands out. Notice still that soft bend, and then I bring my hands back to my body. I'm going to turn to the side and show you what that looks like. We bring our hands up facing each other and down towards our bodies, up just like an elevator, push away from our bodies, and then we bring our hands back. Now you probably noticed a little movement with that wrist. You don't have to move your wrist. You can, by all means, be straight fingered up, straight fingered down, straight fingered in and up and out. And right here, you got to put your fingers up to get ready for the next movement. But that whole time, your fingers can just stay pointing out. But you can add to the movement by giving yourself a little wrist movement, and that would be a wrist exercise. So we're throwing in a little bit of extra. Totally optional, totally what you feel comfortable with. But when I bring my hands up, my fingers are more pointed down towards the ground. And when I bring my hands down, my fingers are more pointed up towards the ceiling. Here, they're pointed out as I come up, out, and back in. So you see how there was that wrist movement. Up, down, in, up, out, and back in, fingers pointed up. So you can play around with that to see how much wrist movement you're comfortable with, if any at all. Right now, you might be just in a place where you're like, listen, I'm just trying to remember what to do, whether I'm supposed to go up or down or out or in. Whew. It's a lot when you first start. It is. It is. So you have me here to help you in lots of different ways, but right now in class, Dr. Lamb gives us this little story where he says he has a ball and he's holding this ball and he wants to show it off and he wants to share it. He wants somebody to play with his ball because it's such a cool ball. So he That's what his story is. He brings this ball up. Oh, look how pretty this ball is. Don't you want to play with it? No, they don't. So you bring it back to yourself and you think, well, I'll just give them one more chance. So you put that ball back out there and see, oh, look, but it's so pretty. Oh, they still don't want it. So you bring it back. So that's Dr. Lamb's story, and that helps a lot of people remember about showing off the ball. Oh, look, showing the ball. They don't want the ball, so you bring it back, but you want to give them one more chance. So you show them the ball one last time. They still don't want it. Boom. So that can be helpful. That's something Dr. Lamb came up with. If I ever talk about Dr. Lamb, he's the guy. He's the man. He's the one who wrote this program. He's a medical doctor. He's a Tai Chi master. So he put together his knowledge of Tai Chi and his knowledge as a medical doctor to help with falls prevention and pain from arthritis with this program. So it's really cool, the things that he's come up with and how it can help you specifically with balance. All right, so let's go through that arm movement again. We come up, down, in, up, out, and back in. So all of this seems a little overwhelming to be the very first movement, and that's okay. And I'm going to give you, well, I'll always give you grace. Dr. Lamb says you're going to feel awkward doing these movements for a long time. But of course, I'll give you grace. But I want you to know that our second movement looks like this. It's called open and close. That's it. There's not even any leg movements. So just know if you can get this first movement called commencement in, you can have a little break, open and close. So I'll go ahead and throw that in there. So it's a feel-good thing. So I'm going to do it mirror image. We're going to talk about the hand movement and the footwork and how it goes together. So we start in this nice stable stance, weight on both legs. I'm bringing my hands up. Nothing's happening with my legs right now. It's when I bring my hands down that I shift the weight to that right leg. Then I step left. I bring my hands in and up. I'm going to shift the weight to my left leg as my hands go out. I'm going to bring that right foot forward and then bring my hands back. So that's the choppiest version of commencement that I can come up with. So here we go. Let's keep doing it. And commence. Bring those hands up, down, shift right. Step left. Bring those hands in and up. Take those hands out as we shift to that left foot. Bring the right foot forward and then bring those hands back. Now let's throw in open and close. So let's just take that first part of that movement where we bring our hands up, nothing happening with our legs. But when we come down, we shift right. So doesn't it kind of seem like we're taking our hands and we're pulling that weight down to that leg? That's what it feels like to me. So we come up, down, shift right. We come up, down, shift right. Now let's go ahead and step with that left foot. Bring those hands in and up. We're going to take our hands out as we shift left. Bring the right foot forward, and then our hands come back. Open and close. Let me turn around. We'll do that a few times turned around. And commence. Bring those hands up, down, shift right. Step left. Bring those hands in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Let's do it again. And commence. Up, down, shift right. Step left, bring those hands in and up. Hands go out as I shift left. Bring that right foot forward. Hands come back, open and close. So just now when I turned around, I think the first time I did mirror image backwards. So I may have done the wrong foot. So sometimes you just can't trust what comes out of my mouth and what my body's doing. But you see how when I face you and do mirror image, it looks one way. When I turn around and go through that movement, it has a different look to it. So which do you like better? I know you said you don't care. How about you, Miss Juanita?
I think I like it better when you're walking towards me.
When I face you?
Facing me.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
It is so fascinating to me. I don't know what kind of study I could possibly do about it, but it is fascinating to me that some people like it one way, some people like it another way, and some people, it doesn't matter which way.
You get the hang of it either way.
You cannot teach me mirror image. And let me tell you an example. I think Mr. James has heard this before. I went to a conference where I went on stage and I was learning like that Hawaiian thing, I don't know what it's called. It's not a hula. Maybe it is a hula. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Hula. Yeah, hula dance.
Okay. Well, the instructor was right in front of me. And so she was teaching, you know, to go a certain way. Well, when she would go to her right, my brain turned her around and I went to my right. But everyone else on stage went to their left, which was the way she was going, but it was to her right. So my brain turned her around backwards. There is a picture of everyone going left except me. I'm going to the right.
That's right. You had it right. Yeah.
And that just goes to show you, like, it's just not for everybody. Whenever somebody was trying to teach me mirror image, I kept going to myself, why does she keep saying left, but she's moving her right? I don't understand. I don't get it. That was years ago when I first learned about mirror image. So because I personally can't be taught by mirror image, I try to throw it out to y'all and say, however y'all want to learn, I can teach it either way. Only because I've been teaching Tai Chi for going on 11 years now. In the beginning, I would have said, I'm sorry, y'all, but I don't know how to teach mirror image. I would have never even gave it a try, but I know it well enough. But if you ever see me laughing whenever I go shift right, step left, I'm laughing because I'm lying to y'all, and I'm laughing because it's just funny to me because I get confused of why I'm lying. So let's do that commencement again in mirror image. Here we go. And commence. Hands come up. Hands come down as I shift right. Step left. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. The right foot forward. Hands come back. Open and close. So this is the first two movements of our basic 6. And we're going to learn this and build on it and keep going. So here we go. Commence. Up, down, shift right. Step left, bring those hands in and up. Shift as they go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. So practice this commencement move, even if you just think about it in the next week. Oh, that makes me think. I will not have class next week because I have to go to a meeting. So we'll resume classes on February the 7th. You can still get on the YouTube page and practice. So you don't get excused to do nothing. I'm just kidding. You can do nothing if you want to. But I just won't be here for it next week. And I apologize. I tried to get out of it. I just couldn't. So
Yeah, you're bad as me.
huh?
I said, you're bad as me.
I did not want to go to a meeting in Macon.
Well,
It's a 2-day meeting.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it should be fun.
No, it's a meeting.
I know, but I'm trying, it should be fun just to leave out Bennett.
Well, maybe I can at least have a good supper or something.
Yes.
Maybe so.
I'm just a really, really big homebody, y'all. I mean, I just love to be at home more than anything in this whole wide world. So
That's me.
I don't like to have to leave home, and I don't like having to like mix up my routine. I like to keep it the same.
Simple.
I think I'm an older person, like just already, because older people are like kind of set in their routines, and I think that's just how I am. So anyway, we're between the next 2 weeks. I want you to think about, practice, look at commencement and open and close, so that we can be ready to move towards single whip. So commence, open and close. Let's do it one more time. Commence, open and close. Well, there you go. Let's cool down by giving ourselves a little fist massage. That helps break up lactic acid for any muscles that you have that are sore. And if you're not used to a lot of weight transfer, slow movement of your body, then you're probably going to be a little sore as you do these movements. All right, now let's gather tension. We don't like that. That's cause pain, and release. Gather and release. Gather and release. Our big shoulder circle. And then to end class, we have our right fist that represents our strength. Our left hands, our fingers are all together. That represents our friendship. Our thumb bent in represents our humility. Strength, friendship, and humility. We put those together. And in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
So, I hate that we have to miss next week. I really, really do. You remember when I was in Florida and I did my class in Florida at that conference? I tried to figure out how to do it next week in Macon, but they told me I had to go to all the meetings. So I tried to figure
it out.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Well, like I said, you'll have the YouTube to practice or do whatever you need to do, and or do what you don't want to do. And then, but we'll resume February 7th. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Love y'all.
Love you.
Thanks for the class.
Right, thank you. Bye.
How's pitch?
Bye-bye.
Oh, how's pitch?